Hello, Book 7. This is your story for Section E. Remember, today you'll be doing Section E reading and answering questions 1 through 7. Today we are reading about the last dodo. It's an interesting picture there of him, isn't it? If someone referred to you as a dodo, you would probably be insulted. It is a derogatory term that describes someone who is not very astute. The origin of the English word can be traced back to the Portuguese doado, which means a foolish person. Dodo was the name Portuguese settlers gave to the large, flightless bird that inhabited the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean. Some people think of the dodo as a mythical creature. It is a fact that this was a real bird. However, and its story is a sad one. For thousands of years, until the island of Mauritius was discovered by Portuguese sailors in 1507, this odd-looking bird existed in peaceful solitude. Because there were no predatory animals on the island, the dodo had long since lost the ability to fly. And because it lacked natural enemies, it was very trusting and made no attempt to flee when approached by humans. Because of this, the Portuguese considered the bird stupid and gave it the name by which we know it today, the dodo. Even if it had been less trusting of humans, the dodo would still have been vulnerable. It was too overweight and ungainly to run very fast. The settlers on the island found that dodos, although a little tough, were good to eat, and they slaughtered them in ever-increasing numbers. Domesticated animals brought to the island by the settlers added to the dodo's problems. The female dodo laid a single large white egg, which it deposited on the ground, usually in a tuft of grass. Prior to the arrival of the original settlers, the eggs had lain undisturbed until they hatched. To the dogs that now roamed the island, these eggs were a delicacy. The dogs scavenged the island and devoured any dodo eggs they encountered. The dodo was last seen alive in 1681. None is believed to have survived after that date. As time passed, people began to wonder if the dodo had ever existed. Drawings done by artists who had visited Mauritius showed a bird somewhat larger than a swan, with an elongated neck, a large head, and an enormous black bill, and a short, tufty tail. Its plumage was grayish in color over most of its body and white on its breast. The majority of people who saw these pictures convinced themselves that such an odd-looking creature must be a figment of the artist's imagination. At that time, there was no way of establishing whether they provided an authentic record of an actual creature. Then, in 1889, a large number of dodo bones were discovered in a swamp on Mauritius. Several skeletons were reconstructed from them and subsequently displayed in museums in London and Paris. These relics are all that remain of this odd-looking but rather lovable bird. So, Book 7, today you are going to answer each of the following questions with a sentence, a complete sentence, using text from the evidence. Evidence from the text, excuse me. If a question does not contain a vocabulary word with the lesson's word list, use one in your answer. Each word is only used once. So just a reminder, if there's no vocabulary word in the question, you must have one in your answer every single time. If there is a vocabulary word in the question, you do not need to have one in your answer. All right, Book 7, you got this.